It's Sunday in the Breakfast Club, and I am Serious Mind. All right, this week the topic is goals. What goals have we achieved so far, and what goals do we wish to achieve in the future? So, kind of a tough question, really. I mean, you know, most of you know by now, anyone who's familiar with me anyway knows that I'm an engineer. So I would say, so as far among the goals, my big goals that I've achieved in life, one was getting my degree and getting a job in engineering and learning. I've been doing this for a long time. 19, well, graduated in 91, but I've really been doing this since 1989. So almost 30 years. A couple more years it'll be 30. So that was a big thing. Obviously, it's been a big part of my life. I've often said that being an engineer is not my job. It's what I am. It's part of my identity. It always has been. So that was a biggie. I would think, having a good relationship and getting married, that was a cool thing. That was a pretty big thing. Starting my company was another really big one. Something that I thought about doing for a long time, and circumstance kind of made that come about, kind of pushed me in that direction, and I haven't regretted it. I like not working under the thumb of people who I won't say they're incompetent, but people who have a different view on how things should be run, and being able to have control. And now I'm in a position, and I have been for the last 8 years, that the only one I have to make happy are my customers, as long as they're happy with what we're doing. And then so another one has been trying to grow the company, and that's gone on. It's been had ups and downs, but right now I would say where we've been in the last 6 to 8 months. We've been going like gangbusters, and the only problem I have right now is trying to find qualified people. So I guess that's a future goal, is really to continue to grow the business, and I really would like to get to the point where, there's a certain size I have in mind. I don't want to necessarily be a massive company, but I'd like to be at a bigger level that'll allow us to do jobs of a certain size, and it's kind of self-sustaining. So in that regard, working toward some things with some of my vendors, some of their programs, that the things they want us to see us do, that then the more commitment we show, the more commitment they'll show to us, and that in turn will drive more business. So I've even talked with some of my one of my vendors about possibly merging or taking them over. So if that goes well, and that'll lead to one of my other goals is, retire by the time I'm in my mid-50s. I'm 48 now. So if I could, build the business up to a point where I could sell it for a respectable sum, and then not have to work anymore. Because then I think I would kind of go, if I was there at that point, because I know what I could sell it for. If I grow it a bit more, would be to start a different business. Right now, my business is automation and controls, but I'd love to do stuff in games, just to develop games, design games, both board games and computer games, and I've done some of that, but not enough to nothing that's gonna make me any kind of money. And those industries are kind of hard to make money. It's hard to break in, but especially with the board games and tabletop games, if very few of them make any significant kind of money. Most of them do it out of a labor of love. They might make enough to support themselves, but they don't live big lives. And we've been fortunate between my wife and myself. We've been fairly successful, and my wife's retiring soon, and so the goal is really to, and this would be a big one, is to be able to retire and spend more time with her and travel and see the world, and the thing is, some people talked about And what do you have to do? I guess the key thing is it's important to have goals, and it's important to come up with plans. Now, you should have some flexibility because circumstances will change, and don't get so wedded to a goal that you can't adjust, and if something better comes along. But you also have to focus to a degree. You can't really be all over the place. One of the things I'm finding in my own business, when I started, being a small business, you don't want to say no to work. You don't want to throw anything away, and so we've supported a diverse number of mix of systems, but to really kind of go that next level, it's going to require us to get more focus. Because you can end up spending a lot of money here, there, and everywhere, kind of spreading out, and at a certain size company you can afford to do that, but as a small company you really kind of need a little better focus, and so that's probably a mistake I made along the way. Well, maybe not, but something that at this middle level where I'm at now, certainly something that a change that I have to make. So that's really it. I mean, it's mostly career. I've been, my wife, as I said, my wife and I have been reasonably financially successful enough that she can afford, we can afford to have her retire in a few months. But the next goal is to go for both of us, and that'd be great because I really want to. There's a lot of friends I have around the world. Thanks to YouTube and other things. A lot of some of the forums I've been part of, and I'd love to be able to get around and get to see people. Like, if all goes well, I'll be in Ireland and England in September, and I'm hoping to get to see Got That Funk again. That we had a good time a couple years back. So anyway, that's my goal. Get to the point where I don't have to work anymore, on at least not having to earn a living, and then do everything else just for the love of it, and I'll be able to travel and see people that I care about. So that's all I have for this week. I'm not sure. I guess Paul's up next. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say. And take care. I'll catch you next week. One more thing I wanted to add, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before in a previous video, but I think it bears repeating since we're talking about goals. Do not confuse losses with failure. They're not the same thing. There's going to be times when you don't win. You don't get what you were hoping for. And that's unfortunate, and you don't want that to happen too often. But don't let that dissuade you. As long as you don't get killed, maimed, or imprisoned, you'll always have another shot. You can make more money. You can take another chance. But what will hold you back is lack of a plan. A goal without a plan is a wish. Wishes don't ever happen. So, you need to figure out what it's going to take, and you need to be realistic, and that's going to take some work. And so you're going to have to figure out, talk to people who have done something similar, as similar as possible, in case you're doing something that's a little off the wall. And if you don't have the ability to do it right now, find out what it will take. What do you need from what you have now to make it possible to do whatever it is you want to do, and then set out a road to do that. You can do it. Money can often be an issue, but there's sometimes ways around that too. But if all you're doing is talking about, someday is bullshit. If someday I'm going to do this, no, you're not. No, you're not. Your goals are things you're actually working on, and you're at some stage, even if you're in the early stages. So, don't be afraid. Don't let fear hold you back. Because if you don't try, then you will have already failed. We're very often afraid of failure, but if we're so afraid that we don't try, then we've already failed. So don't give up. Keep going. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.